All right, very good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Controller Scopes once again. Captain Nabs is here with you for another evening of ATC on the VATSIM network. Welcome aboard,
Express
everybody.
219er, we just missed the Delta. We'll go down on Victor if you don't mind.
Okay, Express 219, let's make it a little easier. Taxi ahead on Foxtrot, right turn on Tango, across runway 33 right, Alpha Lima.
Roger, thank you.
So, yeah, it's been a little while since I've done an ATC stream, so I thought I would do one tonight. So, welcome aboard, everybody. Going to be here for about 2 hours on Toronto Centre, maybe a little bit more if it does get busy. Or, sorry, not on Toronto Centre, on Toronto Arrival. Funny.
Terminal, hello, Jazz 207.
Jazz 207 Toronto, good evening. I understand, are you looking for an RNAV approach to runway 06 right, or simulate RNAV, I should say?
Affirmative, Jazz 207. We just need to set up the FMC of the lake.
All right, sorry, I cut you off there. I just confirm you want RNAV Zulu runway 06 right?
Affirmative is on F Zulu 06 right, Jazz 207.
Jazz 207, roger. Fly heading 240, let me know when you're set up.
Heading 240, Jazz 207.
All right, so yeah, it's kind of a quiet evening right now, but hopefully it'll get a little busier if we spend a little bit of time online tonight. So that's kind of my goal, is to hopefully get lure at least a few people in here, sucker a few people onto the network here. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done an ATC stream. I'm just looking at the corner of the screen there. It's April 27th, and I don't think I've done one since Cross the Pond, which was, what, April 4th. So it's been a solid 3 weeks since I last did a ATC stream. It's way longer than I'd like it to normally be. The biggest real reason is just because of my work schedule. Oftentimes, I have used this as a fun way to kind of kill time when I'm not working. When I'm stuck somewhere, when I'm stuck on an overnight somewhere. So I use this as a way to kind of keep myself occupied, and unfortunately, that has just not been the case this last little while. The shifts I've been working all night shifts, but and no time for ATC streaming. Anyways, it's pretty much it's sleep and head back to work. So it's been pardon me, it's been a very grueling schedule to say the least. So yeah, that's basically the reason why. It's not necessarily laziness. I hate to label it as laziness, but yeah, just generally things have not been going. Yeah, things have not been just not conducive to really streaming. Like I said, like I don't usually do it at home because the trouble with streaming at home is I get online around this time. It's a little bit late for VATSIM. We'll get a few airplanes tonight for sure, but it's a little bit late for the VATSIM network. VATSIM really kind of shines an hour or two earlier. So when I'm not when I find myself with time to kill earlier in the evening, then it makes for a much more effective streaming period. So it's a little bit quiet tonight. We're gonna uh, see what we can lure in. It was a few airplanes a little while ago, and hopefully we'll be able to lure some in. But in the meantime, if anybody wants to talk about anything, of course, so we're always here and happy to talk about it. Or if you want to come and try flying for the first time in the VATSIM network, it's going to be pretty quiet by the looks of it. We got two airplanes on the ground, one taxiing in, one unknown status there, no flight plan filed yet, and one aircraft just doing some practice approaches here. So nothing terribly exciting this evening yet, but that's always the way it starts out, and then I always end up pleasantly surprised. I always start every stream I think that I do ATC with kind of a moan and groan and oh, there's nobody here, it's not going to be busy, what's the point? And then it's amazing how quickly I change my tune. How quickly I suddenly there goes. I think the guy was an arrival. I think that was what I think I saw his flight plan there, so I think he was an arrival. But yeah,
Jazz 207, we are ready. And this time we would like to do a touch and go and come back for another one.
Jazz 207 Roger, and proceed direct Darpu.
Direct out to Jazz 207.
And so he's going direct to Darpu. Mark him down for touch and go. Yeah, so it's been, yeah, like I said, it's been a little longer than I would like it to be between streams for sure. But that was just the nature of my schedule in April. It was just at times brutal, honestly. Working night shifts does not agree with me. It was kind of the best thing I could do, but it was really not ideal. So next month's going to be a little bit more normal by my standards, if you will. I definitely will have a little bit of time next month where hopefully we'll be able to get some streams in. It might make trying to get in the flight streams actually a little bit more challenging. So it's always sort of, I'm always sort of stuck between one or the other. Either the flight streams keep me busy or these streams keep me busy. So, um, yeah, but regardless, like I've kind of wanted to do this for a while, and I kind of wanted to do Toronto, and I wanted to focus on Toronto because Toronto is just Toronto's an interesting challenge right now. Having watched Canadian Express 219 land, we can tell who doesn't read the NOTAMs. And I joke, but it's it's been it's a summer of construction in Toronto, to say the least. And stand by. You want to handle this departure out of Hamilton? Said you want to handle this departure out of Hamilton, or you want me to take him? I think this. I didn't even notice him. I think the sector file automatically deferred Hamilton to you, didn't it? Yeah, yeah, he's going to Halifax. You could talk to Wendy's Airborne, I guess. All right, so let's get some weather loaded up for Hamilton. Jazz 207, Toronto, you're cleared. Toronto, Arnav, Zulu, runway 06 right, Darpu transition.
Cleared on F Zulu 06, right to Darpu transition, Jazz 207.
There we go, that's what I'm looking for. All right, so now I get a little texting going on. So he's texting me anyways. He's a text-only pilot, which doesn't make it very much fun either, but let's see here. So Hamilton.
Toronto approach, good evening, UPSC 2003 Heavy at Hamilton. Requesting clearance to Halifax, flight level 390.
UPS 2003 Toronto, good evening. Stand by just one moment.
Roger, standing by, UPSC 2003.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I thought I had. All right, and just like that, it's back up and running. UPS 2003, good evening. You're cleared to Halifax via the Monroe 2 departure. Vectors to Colts and flight plan route. Depart runway 30, squawk code 0571.
We are cleared to Halifax International Airport via Monroe 2 departure. Vectors to the flight plan route. Squawk 0571 UPSC 2003 Heavy.
UPS 2003 Heavy, that readback is all correct. Push back and start up at your discretion and call when you're ready for taxi.
Roger, we'll call for taxi UPSC 2003 Heavy.
And Nuclear Jet 748, good evening. Welcome to what is apparently a very rare occurrence for me, which is, of course, ATC in anything really online at all. I really have not done much controlling in quite a while here. Yeah, welcome aboard. Just happy to kind of talk about what's going on here.
Toronto approach, good evening, Air Canada 427 with you through 16,000 for 12,000.
Air Canada 427 Toronto arrival, good evening. Information in Toronto is Juliet, runway 06 right and descend 8,000. Altimeter is 3009er.
Down to 83009, and we've got Juliet Air Canada 427.
And for some reason this messed up on the connection here, so let's just reset that. ATIS, there we go. That should fix that. There it is, 2082, perfect. All right, yeah. Hopefully we'll get a couple of outbounds going here. Get a little bit of traffic going through our terminal unit here, but yeah, just I feel like I have not done these streams very much lately, and it's been. I want to get back into them, and next month I definitely will. There'll be quite a few occasions next month where I'll be doing ATC streams, but I thought I would try and do at least one this week because I have quite a few nights off, and yeah, just wanted to log on to VATSIM. I have really my controller hours for the month of April. Hold on a second. Is that you in Jazz? Because that's not causing me too much problem, honestly. But yes, my controller hours were way down in the month of April, which is kind of funny because like maybe a little ironic, because Cross the Pond really was like just a was just.
Closer approach, Express 219 at the gate, engine shut down. Thanks for the TC again. Thank you.
Get Express 219, no problem, bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Yeah, that's you and Jazz 207. Aha. Yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, what a contrast, because like I started the month like so strong, like ridiculously strong. Across the pond, I logged almost 7 hours of ATC in one single day, which is not a month's worth of controlling for me, but it definitely a week's worth of controlling at the very least. So I sort of, right after that, I was like, okay, I don't want to come online too much right away after that. But then just the whole rest of the month, it was just such a crazy busy schedule. I just couldn't find the time to get back online, unfortunately, to control. So I've only probably logged in since Cross the Pond. I've probably only logged in maybe 3 or 4 hours of controlling since then. I think I've only logged like 1, maybe 2 ATC sessions the whole month after that. So kind of really suddenly contrasted with that. But I do have to say, Cross the Pond this year, I do think it was great. I think it was very well managed. It was it could have been busier, I think, and I think I say that every year, but there were quite a few periods where it was more than busy enough, and I was very happy to I was very happy to participate and be able to get to control as much as I did. So you know, it was a long day, and towards the end, I think I was losing my mind. But certainly, my voice was starting to fail me. Words were not coming out of my mouth in the right order after the 5th or 6th hour. The last half an hour, 45 minutes or so, I was really starting to lose it, I think. So it's probably a good thing that I did finally pull the plug on Cross the Pond Day when I did. But I do have to say, it was very well run event. It seemed like for the most part things went pretty smoothly. I think the team is getting really good. Oh, you're doing the Q400. Okay. Is that which Q400 is that? Is that the Majestic or the what is it, Fly JSim? I see you're using V-Pilot, so I'm guessing it's Majestic. Jazz 207, Toronto winds are showing 340 at 16, cleared the touch and go runway 06 right on the go, maintain 3000 runway heading.
Clear touch and go, runway 6, right on the go, 3000 runway heading, Jazz 207.
It is the Majestic, man. And I put so many hours in that Majestic Dash 8, and I haven't flown it in so long. I have a hard time going back to P3D. The scenery, I have such a hard time going back to it. The scenery, the sky, the clouds, they just don't look as good as they do in the Do Sim. So I have gone back to it a few times when I've been really kind of jonesing for a fix in the 3.7. I haven't even taken the Dash 8, and I don't know, it's probably been the better part of a year. Teslix 80, evening. yeah, it's been way too long since I've taken that Majestic Dash 8, and I've always enjoyed it. It's such a good airplane to fly. The Majestic is it's so well done. It's so well executed. It has a few very minor little bugs and shortcomings that I notice, and they still bug me to this day. But as an overall package, such a good airplane. You know, there's the fact that you can fail certain functions in it. You can fail certain electrical systems, hydraulic systems. Kind of you can do sort of neat things like that. I really enjoy it. Um, it's such a fun airplane to fly. I really should take it and fly it again this week, maybe. I haven't flown it in forever, and I might take it up tomorrow, just for fun. Just do like a quick little 1 hour boot somewhere, just for fun, because I haven't done it in so long. It's a good airplane to fly, and it's good because it's a regional commuter airline, so you can fly like shorter legs. It feels comfortable doing shorter legs in it. But yeah, I really should get that airplane out of the hangar. And there's so many airplanes that I have my P3D hangar, and I shut the doors in the hangar and didn't look back. Locked the doors and threw away the key. Like I really, I'm all in on Microsoft Flight Simulator as a platform. I think it. I tend to agree with BMDG that it is the future. I definitely think it is the future. Um, but that being said, I guess I shouldn't be so quick to abandon the past. I had so many good airplanes, so many good airports. It's all still installed on this computer right here. It's all still right here in front of me, and I just never turn it on anymore. I'm all about Microsoft Flight Simulator. Um, slowly and yeah, yeah. For the training version, I know they were working on that for years. It's been sort of a project in the works for years, and yeah, you can fail even more things on it. The visual upgrades, you know, and 2 or 3 years ago, I probably would have been all over that. I would have said, yeah, bring on more failures. I love failing things in the sim. Yeah, maybe that's what I need. Of course, that being said, I shouldn't spend any more money right now because I spent enough money now uh, on the I got the Boston scenery the other day for MSFS. Flight Tampa released that, and I just had to have that day one. I was like, there's no question, there's no doubt in my mind that that's a scenery that, it's going to be great to fly to, especially like Toronto Boston is a great sort of corridor to do. There's lots of great airports around Boston, so it's a great airport to have in the sim. There's always great ATC. Air Canada 427 to send 6,000.
Down to 6, Air Canada 427.
So it's a great airport to fly in the sim. So I've already I bought it and flew to it at least once already. I'm definitely going to fly it quite a few more times. But yeah, it's just such a I don't know what just as a platform. Like I'm all about Microsoft Flight Simulator. It looks so good. The visuals are so good, and yes, a lot of things don't have the same depth, unfortunately, at this point, but we're getting there, and we're getting very close now. Um, there's now starting to become a larger selection of aircraft available that you can choose from. Obviously, we had the CRJ quite some time ago. Air Canada 427 to send 4,000.
Down to 4, Air Canada 427.
Um, but now we're on the cusp of a whole bunch of other airplanes. That PFDG 737 so close I can almost taste it. I can't wait to get that thing in the sim. That's going to be amazing. Um, what else? The Mad Dog was just announced just the other day that they're going to release that in the sim in the next week. 3 more days, I think they said. I think they said April 30th is going to be the release date. So 3 more days, 4 more days, like this week, that's going to be out. Which really kind of like that was one that you knew they were working on, but it was like they're another developer that holds things very close to their chest. They don't really say a whole lot when things are in progress, and all of a sudden here they are, they're doing it. So yeah, very exciting times to be starting to be in the sim world. Yeah, the Phoenix release, that's another one. So that's also kind of on the cusp as well. That yeah, between the Phoenix 320, the PMDG 737, the Mad Dog, if you can afford it, those three airplanes, like your sim's going to be full of jets for a long time. You're going to certainly, as far as narrow body jets, you're going to be set. That basically covers the big ones in the market right now. So after that, it really comes down to long haulers. Is the only thing the sim's really going to be missing. But yeah, I feel like I could be mostly comfortable in the sim flying those airplanes. And certainly, like, you know, when they first released, like, I can spend a lot of time flying these airplanes when they're new. I don't feel like I have to. Uh, I don't think I'm going to miss long hauling for the time being while I'm still enjoying all these narrow bodies. But that being said, that long haul itch is still there. I do want to do some long hauling. I did try to do some long hauling today, and it didn't go particularly well. Air Canada 427, turn left heading 330, correction, turn right heading 330, descend 3000.
330 down to 3000, Air Canada 427.
Jazz 207 Toronto, when able, say your next request.
Jazz 207, I'm going to come back for the ILS-06 right this time and full stop.
Jazz 207, I copy the ILS runway 06 right, turn right heading 150.
Right, heading 150, Jazz 207.
Yeah. What was I saying? Lost my train of thought there. Yeah, I did do a little bit of long hauling. All right, there's the UPS guy down in Hamilton. I did do a little bit of long hauling today. I tried to. It was a bit of a frustrating experience, to be honest. But those of you that watch my previous stream know that I did pick up the DC Designs Concorde, and I want to like it. It's been frustrating though. Air Canada 427, turn right, heading 030 to intercept, cleared ILS runway 06 right.
That's 030 for the intercept, cleared the ILS 06 right, Air Canada 427.
Yeah, what can I say about the DC Designs Concorde? I mean, I like it. It looks good. It's got a lot of kind of functionality in it, systems that are set up to work properly. It's a complicated airplane. There's no doubt about that, and that's why like I don't want to be overly critical, but I feel like to watch everything that I've seen, to read everything that I've read and everything that I've seen, I feel like I'm doing things correctly and it's still just not quite working out the way it's supposed to. And so maybe I'm still missing something, but I had a lot of issues with it today. Among other things, twice my sim crashed, twice, which was really kind of frustrating. I had to text some people and vent right away because it was so frustrating because my sim crashed just as I literally lined up on the runway for departure, went through the whole setup. Took me about 40 minutes to get going, 45 minutes to get going, lined up on the runway, and then just as I was about to put up takeoff power, it crashed. And so of course I decided to restart the computer thinking hopefully maybe that'll help resolve any potential issues. Jazz 207, turn right heading 230.
Right, heading 230, Jazz 207.
And instead, and instead, when I restarted the sim, the update was waiting for me. Update 9 was waiting for me. And I can, of course, once an update's released, you can't start your sim until you run the update. So I had to sit there and watch the update run. Fortunately, this update, I will say this, it's one of the smaller updates I have seen. It was only, the base update itself was only about 4.8 gigs, I think. There have been other updates that have been like 20, on the order of 20 gigs, and you're like, holy geez, like you got to give yourself like 2 hours to friggin' download it when it comes out. But this one was a lot more reasonably sized anyway, so it was actually done in about 10 to 15 minutes. So I managed to get the sim restarted again and redid the whole flight, and actually managed to get pretty much all the way from London to New York, and then literally on final at about 1,000 feet in New York, the sim crashed a second time, and I was just about ready to throw the computer through the wall because it was just just one of those days. One of those days, but I mean that was only that wasn't the tip of the iceberg, but that was sort of the end of my frustration, anyways. Air Canada 427, winds 320 at 16, cleared land runway 06 right.
Cleared land 06 right, Air Canada 427.
Yeah, that was the that was the end of my frustration anyways there, the end of my dealing with that airplane. I did get pretty much most of the way across the pond. I did manage to get it to sort of work, but I had three major issues with it. And maybe it's something I'm doing, maybe I'm not understanding how it's working properly, and I do need to practice with it more. I will admit that this was only my fourth time flying the aircraft, and the first attempt to do a real long haul with it. And I ended up with three major issues. The first was that I could not seem to get fuel to transfer from one tank to another in terms of the trim transfer tanks. It's a real tongue twister. You don't even realize it's a tongue twister. But the trim transfer tanks, I could not seem to get them to transfer fuel for me for some reason. Does the Q400 have a fixed info page to set radius and extension lines? No, it does not. You can look up information about a particular waypoint, but you can't paint a waypoint on the MFD and display fixed and radius lines from it. Jazz 207, fly heading 240.
Heading 240, Jazz 207.
Yeah, so the first problem I had was I could not seem to transfer fuel. I had everything set up the way it's supposed to be set up as I understand it. I had all the inlet valves open on the rear tank and the pumps running on the front tanks. Fuel just would not transfer. Just would not transfer. The CFG just stayed right where it was, and it was very frustrating. I tried over the course of my 3-hour flight. I tried any number of combinations of switches to try and get things to work. I tried them in auto mode. I tried them in manual mode. Nothing would seem to. Nothing seemed able to resolve my trim issues. Air Canada 427, welcome to Toronto. Turn left on Delta 3, cross runway 06 left and say parking.
And Delta 3 will cross 06 left and anywhere Terminal 1 is good.
Air Canada 427, all right. Let's see, Montreal, we're going to assign you gate 135. So Delta 3, Delta Alpha, and Alpha Kilo for 135.
Delta 3, Delta Alpha, Alpha Kilo for 135, Air Canada 427.
I think usually actually Montreal goes more in the corner, but whatever. Yeah, so.
Toronto approach UPSC 2003 heavy requesting taxi.
UPS 2003 Toronto Hamilton altimeter is 3008 and the winds are showing 310 at 5. Runway 30 taxi Charlie. Runway 06 hold short of 30.
Roger, we are clear to tax via Charlie, runway 06, hold short, runway 30, UPSC 2003, heavy.
Dead key forward 2 leg. It's an unusual route to get to Boston, but I guess it works. Yeah, so I couldn't get this fuel to transfer whatsoever. I know it's a complicated aircraft. I know it's not an easy aircraft to operate the fuel system in. It's one of definitely the more complex aircraft that I've ever seen. 13 tanks, including the need to trim and move the CFG to maintain the aircraft in trim, so that you don't have to displace the elevators a long way and induce a lot of drag during cruise, which is a very smart way to actually operate the airplane once it comes down to it. I mean, it's very fiendish and complicated, but it is, from an engineering standpoint, it's a brilliant solution to the problem of having too much drag and, of course, having such a huge CG shift once you reach a certain Mach number, especially with that shape wing. It's a very, at the end of the day, it's quite a well done aircraft, but. Yeah, I just could not get the fuel to transfer. As far as I could tell from everything I'd read, every video I'd seen, I had everything set up correctly, and it seemed like it just did not want to ever transfer any fuel. And I couldn't figure out why the whole time.
Front arrival, Air Canada 1296 on the wing arrival with Juliet.
Air Canada 1296, Toronto, good evening. Information is Juliet, runway 06 right, plan the ILS, and I'll have lower for you in about 15 miles.
Roger, I expect 06 right and 3009 exit at 1296.
Jazz 207, fly heading 270.
Heading 270, Jazz 207.
Just tighten that up just a little bit there. Yeah, that was the first problem. I couldn't seem to get the fuel to ever transfer, and I'd got it to transfer in another flight. That was the thing that really bugged me too, is that it somehow in another flight I had managed to transfer fuel from one tank to another, but I couldn't do it today for some reason. So I wonder if something glitched out with the plane after I reloaded it today. The second issue I had was what's the second issue I had? The second issue I had was the INS would not seem to sequence waypoints properly. UPS 2003, backtrack runway 30 as much as you like. Contact me once you're airborne. The wind's 310 at 5, clear for takeoff, runway 30.
Roger, clear for takeoff, runway 30, UPSC 2003, heavy.
Yeah, so the second thing was I couldn't get the INS to follow the flight plan. The flight plan was just, I kept on doing direct to a waypoint, and then it seemed like after it reached a waypoint, it wanted to skip either ahead or back in the flight plan to some other waypoint that was not supposedly the next waypoint on the flight plan. So it ended up making a couple of crazy turns before I'd even kind of realized what was going on. Because the trouble with this airplane, and the fact that you are your own flight engineer means that you often spend a lot of time sitting side saddle, staring at that flight engineer's panel, trying to figure out what's going on in the flight engineer panel, trying to figure out why the fuel system's not working, and then you look up, you go back to the front just after a couple of minutes of trying to decipher the fuel panel, and the airplane turned like 60 degrees off its course, and you don't even realize it because your head was buried in the back. So that was a little frustrating that the INS did not seem to want to work. Jazz 207 fly heading 330.
Heading 330, Jazz 207.
And I still cannot reliably get the aircraft to also intercept a localizer to save its life. So I end up having to disconnect and hand fly the approach into New York, and that's when, of course, the airplane, the sim crashed. The airplane didn't crash, the sim crashed. So it's just a frustrating day from trying to fly that airplane, and I feel like probably it's me. I want to say it's probably me and just not knowing this airplane and not knowing it well enough, but I feel like I was doing everything correctly and still things are just not coming together the way they should. I'm hitting the VOR loc button and nothing's happening. I can see the course needle. I've got the localizer tuned in and I see the course needle go right through. The airplane just goes right through and just keeps on going. Does not in any way capture. Just very frustrating watching it shoot through that localizer and then try to bring it back. Shoot through it a second time, doesn't do anything, so disengage the autopilot, try to hand fly while I'm trying to put the gear down and
Toronto departure,
bring the speed
good
back.
evening, Jazz 359er, information Juliet, at stand 161, ready for IFR clearance to Boston Logan International.
Jazz 359 Toronto, good evening. You're clear to Boston via the dead key for departure, 2-leg transition, flight plan route. Depart runway 33 right, squawk code 2202, stand by for the readback. Jazz 207, turn right heading 030 to intercept, cleared ILS, runway 06 right.
Right turn 030 to intercept, cleared R06 right, Jazz 207.
Air Canada 1296, descend 8,000.
Down to 8,000, Air Canada 1296.
Jazz 359, go ahead, your readback.
Clear to the Boston Logan International, dead key for departure, 2-leg transition, runway 33 right, climb, squawk 2202, Jazz 359er.
Jazz 359er, that readback is all correct. Push and start at your discretion. Call ready for taxi.
Or call for taxi, Jazz 359er. Thank you.
Air Canada 1296. Air Canada 1296 Toronto, proceed direct Darpu, descend 6,000.
Direct Darpu down to 6,000, Air Canada 1296.
Since it's so quiet, let's give them the shortcut here.
Toronto arrival, Jazz 784. We have information Julia on board at gate 163. I'd like to pick up our IFR to National.
Jazz 784 Toronto, good evening. I don't see a flight plan for you. If you can hit refile for me, please.
Sure, I'll refile. Stand by.
UPS 2003, say passing altitude.
Passing now 3,000 feet, UPSC 2003.
UPS 2003 Toronto, thank you. Identified, climb flight level 230.
Climb to flight level 230, UPSC 2003.
Air Canada 1296, descend 4000.
Down to 4,000, Air Canada 1296.
UPS 2003, turn right, right turn, heading 070.
The left is 070, UPSC 2003.
UPS 2003, turn right, heading 070.
Roger, turn right 070, UPS 2003.
Are you done with your testing, I guess?
Arrival Jazz 8784 refollowed.
All right, just give me 1 second here. Jazz 8784 Toronto, there it is. You're cleared to the Washington National Airport via the Rigas 4 departure Phillipsburg transition and flight plan route. Departure runway 33 right, squawk code 2204.
Okay, clear the National Rigas 4 departure Phillipsburg transition flight plan route 33 right and squawk 2204, Jazz 8784.
Jazz 8784, the readback is correct. Information, Juliet's current pushback startup at your discretion. Call when ready for taxi.
We have Julia on board and we'll call for taxi, Jazz 8784.
Air Canada 1296 after Mayrod, or correction, after Darpu, fly present heading.
Alright, after Darpu, flight present heading, Air Canada 1296.
And Jazz 207, the Toronto winds 340, 9 gust 16, clear to land runway 06 right.
Clear to land 06 right, Jazz 207.
Okay, sorry. Had a whole bunch of stuff going on at the same time there. What did you got going on in center? All right, sounds good. I can just, yeah, I can just take over once you log off then. Okay, perfect. Center's mine. I'll take it in just a second here. Thanks. Air Canada 1296. Air Canada 1296 to send 3000.
Down to 3,000, Air Canada 1296.
UPS 2003, direct UCPAG on course.
Roger, direct to UCPAG UPSC 2003.
Attention all aircraft, Toronto Center is going to be just going offline for about 30 seconds here for a reset. Okay, so we're just going to switch this up really quickly here. We're going to come back on as Toronto Center, and what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we disconnect our AFV as well, because otherwise it'll screw that up. Because the Toronto Center controller logged off, so we're just going to take over. If I can find the right call sign. There it is. It's there somewhere. Think about it, think about it. And then we're just going to make sure we get... it did come up on its own. Nope. Cross couple that to this one. Give it a couple seconds here. All right, so now we got Toronto Center up instead of Toronto Arrival. But we're still listing on the Toronto Arrival frequency, so we don't have to tell him when to change frequencies because it's just easier that way sometimes. Air Canada 1296, turn right heading 030 to intercept, cleared ILS, runway 06 right.
030 to intercept, cleared ILS, runway 06 right, Air Canada 1296.
All right, that was pretty nice and quick. Sounds good. And Air Canada 1296 may have given that to you just a little bit late. If you go through the localizer, you can continue the right turn 090 to re-intercept.
Roger, if we miss it, we'll go 090 to intercept Air Canada 1296.
All right.
I think we got it.
We don't have any Cleveland online, right? No Cleveland, no Cleveland. Delta 942, Toronto, you're about to leave my airspace to the west. Cleveland's not online. Surveillance service terminates. Switch to the en route frequency. Have a good night.
Over to Unicom, Delta 942. Thanks for your help tonight.
UPS 2003, continue climb, flight level 390.
Climb flight level 390, UPSC 2003, heavy.
All right. And now we got ourselves launched onto center here as well. So now we just got to pull up a center view. So we got the low center view here. And that's what I'm looking for. So we do have one other traffic up here. We've got Blackfly 708 that's just going into Kappa's casing there. So we're just going to keep an eye on him. He's off to Unicom, already cleared for the approach. So that's fine, not a big deal there. But we got a couple airplanes on the ground. So once again, it never fails that it kind of looks depressing when you first get on and you think that, oh, there's not much traffic today. It's not going to be very busy, but I've got to have the faith. I've got to really keep the faith because I always end up pleasantly surprised by how many airplanes actually end up online here. All right, we got one of these is ready to go, but it's not the guy who's got the transponder on. It's Jazz 359, I guess, by process of elimination. I do always like having two windows open though now, and this is one thing I do like. Like when I stream on my main computer, my screen is quite big. Put that in front of my webcam, but my screen's quite big, quite wide. So it's a, what is this one? A 27-inch monitor, which is not even that necessarily all that big, but compared to like a 15-inch laptop screen.
Jazz 359 are ready for taxi.
Jazz 359 Toronto, make sure the transponder's on. Runway 33 right for departure. Taxi out lane 7, Alpha Lima, Bravo, Victor to hold short 33 right. Information is Kilo, altimeter 3009.
Right, so runway 33 right, lane 7, Alpha Lima, Bravo. And yeah, well, squawk Mo Charlie, altimeter is 3009er, Jazz 359er, thank you.
Jazz 207, plan to exit on Delta 3, Delta 1's closed.
Delta 3, Jazz 207.
Yeah, I haven't even talked about the construction that's going on here because that's what also makes this airport really kind of entertaining and challenging right now. There's the transponder, perfect. Because the dash head would have no problem making Delta 1 there, that's for sure. So I definitely want to make sure I instruct people to exit at Delta 3. All right, here he comes now. Air Canada 1296, Toronto winds are 34016. You're cleared land runway 06 right. Plan to exit Delta 3 or later. Delta 1's closed.
I've declared land runway 06 right and plan to exit Delta 3 or later. Air Canada 1296.
See, the thing that I love about the new VATSIM audio for VATSIM system is that because of the way I've cross-coupled the frequencies together and the fact that cross-coupling is now permitted, I was able to transition and change aircraft to different frequencies.
Toronto departure, UPS 2003, heavy. I need to stay out of the computer for 10 minutes.
UPS 2003, okay, first come up on my other frequency, 125.77, so I don't lose you, and then that's approved. Just let me know when you're back.
Roger, 125.775. Thank you. Good evening for you.
Jazz 207, continue across runway 06 left, and do you know where you're parking?
Jazz 207 will go in Delta Quebec and to ramp.
Jazz 207, Roger, Delta Quebec into the apron. Have a good night.
Across 06 left and Delta Quebec to the ramp. Jazz 207, good night.
All right, and
Toronto Center, good evening. UPSC 2003 Heavy. Refuel passing now. Climb flight level 320.
UPS 2003, I've got you loud and clear now. Just away from keyboards approved. Let me know when you're back, please.
Sorry, please say again for UPSC 2003.
UPS 2003, I've got you loud and clear, and you can go ahead and step away. Just let me know when you're back at the controls.
Roger, I call you back. UPS 2003.
Jazz 359er, line up runway 33 right.
Line up 23 right, Jazz 359er.
Toronto Center, Blackfly 708 down clear, captain.
Blackfly 708, Toronto, thank you very much. Your flight plan is closed, learning service terminated. Have yourself a great night.
Have a good night, we'll talk to you in a bit, Blackfly 708.
Jazz 359er, Toronto, contact me once you're airborne. The wind's 340, 16 cleared for takeoff, runway 33 right.
Clear for takeoff, 33 right, we'll contact when airborne, Jazz 359er.
I swear I marked this already. Did you log off and log back on? Oh, that's why Jazz 207. Yeah. Okay. And this is yeah, you're marked for push. Aircat at 1296. Continue Delta 5 across runway 06 left. Left turn on Delta, and where are you parking?
Roger at Delta 5, cross 06 right, Delta, and where's parking terminal 1 anywhere?
Aircat at 1296. Do you have the new Toronto scenery there?
Yes.
Aircat 1296. Okay. Taxi straight ahead Delta 5 Delta Tango, and you can park at let's make it 251.
All right, Delta 5 Delta Tango and 251, Air Canada 1296.
Things you'll never hear on frequency in the real world. Hey, so do you have the new Toronto scenery?
Jazz 359er, passing 1000.
Jazz 359 Toronto, identified, continue climb flight level 230.
Continue climb 230, Jazz 359er.
Anyways, what was I going to say? Yeah, nuclear jet, if you are interested in that marathon flight from New York to Los Angeles, I'm thinking it's going to be next week. Squibbly said he probably could pick a day that he might actually be available for at least part of the day next week. So I'm going to try and do it next week during the week, though. That's the only thing. I'm going to be doing it during the day because that's the only way I'm going to squeeze in a 6-hour flight. If I start it right at 9 a.m., start the stream pretty much right at 9 a.m. and go until 3:30. It's the only way I'm going to probably squeeze that in. So that's my plan is next week. I know you said you were interested in joining us for it. So if you are still interested, the invitation's open. Jazz 359er Toronto, turn right, direct, dead key on course.
Right, direct, dead key on course, Jazz 359er.
But yeah, keep your ear to the ground on that Discord, and I will definitely post that in there a couple days in advance at least. That reminds me I should probably send Squibbly a message and see when he's going to be free to do this. Yeah. Yeah, so Jazz 207 just parked right there on the corner. That right now is a bit of a no-no. And it's not really a bit of a no-no, but it's just the construction, and it would be nice. It would be really neat if we could see the construction on here. But for the time being, for about another 2 or 3 weeks, there is a giant construction zone right here at Delta Romeo and lane 9, 10, line 9 and 10. They're repaving a huge chunk of the concrete here, so they've churned up a whole big piece of concrete. So Delta Romeo is completely blocked, and it's actually right up the middle, pretty much between lane 9 and lane 10. what they've done is they've actually, I was reading the note tab and I reread it a little more closely, and what you can actually do, it doesn't completely block lane 10. What is only allowed is aircraft to go westbound along the edge of the apron and turn right onto lane 10. You're not allowed to go the other way down lane 10 and turn along the apron edge, because if you turn this way and then you start to gun the power, you're going to blow all the guys that are actually working in this construction zone right here. So they've actually said that this is only a one-way taxiway. You can only go west on the apron and then turn onto lane 10. Lane 9, they actually, for the time being, they've closed gate 179, and lane 9 cuts right through here, so it keeps you a little further away and you're not blasting what's behind you there. So yeah, so that's it's interesting how they've sort of done that, and so they've actually got a one-way taxiway just because they're concerned about jet blast on the construction. Going this way and going up here, it doesn't matter because you're just blasting across here. There's nothing here, but you go this way, you're blasting here, which is right here, the construction zone. So it's not it's not a complete and total closure, but what it does do is it does make it a little bit more challenging for the apron controller and the ground control in the real world.
Center, good evening again, Blackfly 708.
Blackfly 708, Toronto, good evening.
Center, Blackfly 708, and here is application IFR at 6,000, replying to power runway 175.
And Blackfly 708, you're cleared to Hearst via your flight plan route. You can climb on course, maintain 6,000, squawk code 0542. Clearance is valid now. Cancelled if not airborne by 0315 Zulu.
Cleared to the Hearst Airport, you have flight plan route, maintain 6,000, 0542, and board at 0315 Blackfly 708.
Blackfly 708, that readback is all correct. And let's see here, Kappa's casing doesn't want to come up for me. There it is. Kappa's casing, let's see, 0200 weather was 290 at 3, 12 miles, light snow and overcast at 43 with an altimeter of 3021. You can switch to the local advisory frequency for departure. Give me a call this frequency once you're airborne.
Switch to advisory 5 there, Blackfly 708, thank you.
Got another live one here departing Toronto. That's a more traditional route to the east, as it were. Now, the one thing about this one, I guess, is it keeps you in Toronto and Boston airspace, which are both controlled right now, so that's probably why he chose that route. Jazz 359er, continue climb, flight level 370.
Continue climb 370, Jazz 359er.
United 3316 Toronto, you're about to leave my airspace to the west. Cleveland's not online. Surveillance service terminates. Switch to the en route frequency. Have a good night.
Overdue advisory, United 3316, good night.
I'm not trying to be critical. I mean, I know, you know, wouldn't it be neat if you could actually see the construction zones pop up in the sim? But yeah, obviously it's not really practical to do that when they're changing every couple of weeks here in Toronto. Just not practical. But wouldn't that be neat if you could do that?
Toronto Center, very good evening. It's American 462, Terminal 1 at Pearson. Looking to pick up IFR clearance to LaGuardia.
American 462, Toronto, good evening. You're cleared to LaGuardia via the Kepta 2 departure, bump a transition and flight plan route. Departure runway this evening, 33 right, squawk code 0551.
Clear to LaGuardia, Kepta 2 departure, bump a transition, flight plan route, depart 33 right, and squawk 0551, American 462.
American 462, that readback is all correct information. Lima is current. Pushback and startup at your discretion. Call ready for taxi.
All right, we'll pick up Lima and call. Thanks, American 462.
And once again, it got screwed up because I disconnected and reconnected. Now I'm going to pull up live ATC on my other computer. Just because I want to just check the ATIS and keep abreast of the ATIS here as the evening goes on. Make sure they're not shifting the runway configuration underneath me here, because I like to try and keep it realistic. I like to try and sort of emulate what the real world tower is doing. You might be able to hear that lightly in the background. I'll turn it off as soon as I've listened to it through once.
Toronto Center, Black Fly 708 airborne, cap escaping 2,100, climbing 6,000 on course.
Black Fly 708, Squawk Cadet. All right, so Information Quebec has him departing 05. Black Fly 708, Toronto, identified at 3,000, climb 6,000 on course.
Altitude checks, climb 6,000, Black Fly 708, thanks.
Is there a METAR at Hearst? No, nothing. Chapleau. Jazz 359er Toronto, proceed direct Ponset.
Direct Ponct for Jazz 359er.
UPS 2003 Heavy Toronto, you're about to leave my airspace to the east. Montreal's not online. Switch to the en route frequency. Surveillance service terminates. Have a good night. All right, he's AFK. I'll tag him up again so I don't forget. Yeah, no, I know. I'm being super critical. I look upon this as more of just a fun challenge for controllers to try and adhere to the construction zones that are going on Toronto. The other one that's going on right now, the big project, is of course they're repaving 06 left, 24 right, which is probably the busiest runway in Toronto, and it is offline for the whole summer anyways in various portions. Right now they're starting at the west edge and they are literally tearing every inch of depth of pavement off this thing. They're going right down to the sub road bed. It's been I think they said 30 or 40 years since they've done a full refurbishment of this runway, and it's not falling to pieces, but it was definitely wearing and tearing. So they've literally dug out the lights and they have dug it down almost to the gravel underbed, and they're repaving it starting at the west end. So right now they just like the west end is just destroyed, demolished, eradicated. And then they're going to repave it, and then they're going to kind of move up to the center, and then eventually the east end. So right now there's a huge closure. The whole holding bay, like this, is not even usable because it's just been destroyed, pulled up. Oh, there's no way through the pavement here. So 06 left is basically destroyed all the way through to Delta 4, and there's one crossing here at Delta 4. And then it's also already been started to be taken apart and disassembled right through the middle here, Delta 1, Delta 2. So this whole section right here. So there's only 4 ways across this runway right now, Delta 4 and Delta 3, Delta 5, and Delta 7. And you can actually taxi on the runway here east of Delta 3. But yeah, so it's really kind of hamstrung Toronto in terms of how they are able to operate, because of course this is one of their favorite configurations is of course to land on the south runway into part of the north runway, but you can't really land on 24 left because there's only one exit available, Delta 4. If you miss that, then you got to backtrack, and you can't really have that. So while most lighter aircraft usually have no problem making Delta 4, any kind of heavy aircraft would not be able to make it. So what they've done is they've taken the landing on runway 23 and departing 24 left, which is not as much of a problem because nobody's going to have to exit after they depart unless they reject, and that's pretty rare. So we do have a lot of people crossing at this end. In the other direction, it's so awkward right now, and the taxi is so long because you can't depart runway 06 right because there's nowhere to get here. This runway crossing is closed. It's just destroyed right now. So 06 right is only useful as an arrival runway, and the departure runway a lot of days is 05. A lot of the time it's 05, and I'm almost surprised they're using 05 for departure right now. It's raining. It's a pretty strong crosswind here. It's 340 at 16. Like that's a
Black
good,
Fly
good
708.
wind. Black Fly 708, go ahead.
Center Blackfly 708, we're showing clear control lake, cancel the IFR and alerting, continue on the company notes, and we'll still give you a call down in clear.
Okay, Blackfly 708, the IFR is cancelled and the alerting services are cancelled as well. You can remain on my frequency for traffic advisories and I'll get you some weather here in just a moment.
Checker marks, Blackfly 708 there.
What is that? Hurst, Hornpain. I don't think we have weather in Hornpain either.
Toronto Center, UPS 2003 heavy. I'm back.
UPS 2003 Heavy Toronto, thanks. And you've just left my airspace a couple minutes ago to the east. Montreal's not online. Actually, stand by one. Let me just send you over to Boston here. I believe your flight's going to take you through Boston space.
Roger, stand by. UPS 2003 heavy.
UPS 2003. Looks like Boston doesn't want to talk to you yet, so you can switch to the en route frequency for now and give another call as you're just approaching EBDOT there.
Just confirm, I need to maintain the frequency for now. UPS 2003 is correct?
UPS 2003, you've left my airspace, and Boston doesn't want to talk to you quite yet. You're not in his airspace yet, so go to Unicom 122.8 right now, and give Boston a call when you're passing the EBDOT intersection.
Roger, Unicom 122.3, call Boston Center at the episode interception UPS 2003 heavy. Thank you, bye.
Good night. Travis, where'd you go? I lost you. Yeah, it makes for very awkward long taxis. Not probably what people want to do when they're simming, but
Jazz 359er, just double checking in that we gotta stay with you.
Jazz 359 or affirmative.
Perfect, thank you, sir.
Travis, I didn't even notice I lost you. You're obviously not that important to me. Sim crash, huh? I bet. No, maybe. I assume you're probably watching. Yeah, I could be a bit of a D-bag and make people taxi all the way to 05. I'm probably not going to do that. I'm okay with a 3-3 right departure. It almost makes more sense to me anyways. Given the strong northwesterly wind, it's almost surprised me that they're not doing that. It's a more convenient configuration. It's still a not an intersecting configuration because the arrival 06 left or 06 right will never cross any aircraft that's departing 3-3 right because they start their departure roll away from those aircraft. So anyways. This do the handoff? No. Okay, this guy will hand off. Unless he's logging off. Jazz 359, contact Boston Center now, 134.7. Have a good night.
Over to Boston 134.7. Thank you so much for the service. Have a good night, Jazz 359er. Bye-bye.
Good night. The pushback program rammed my aircraft into the ground 3 times, and so I've given up. We are all doing well with simming today. Oh my god. Oh, I also had problems with my pushback today. Pushback Express does not seem to like the Concorde very much. I don't know what it was. It didn't even seem to be anything to do with the aircraft. It just didn't, for some reason, it did not trigger properly. So I just gave up on it. And Blackfly 708, if you're still on frequency. I guess the closest weather I really have for you still is the same old Kappa's casing weather, which is still the 0200 weather I gave to you before, unless you need me to give it to you again.
Checker marks, thanks Blackfly 708, and I'll give you a call down, sir.
Thank you. All right. Well, now things are kind of getting a little bit quieter here. It's kind of interesting there for a couple minutes. Anyways, it got busy, and then yeah, it ebbs and it flows, and now it's ebbing apparently. Got anybody else inbound to Toronto here? We got some inbounds to Toronto. They're just far away. They're just a long way away. Oh, what can you do? I did see a citation there at City for a couple minutes, and then he seemed to disappear. So there's still stuff going. There's a Porter flight actually inbound to City. Huh. I meant to actually ask too, and I saw him earlier, and I was going to ask if Toronto's thinking about moving into this whole multiple ATIS thing, because they've been using the traditional, what's it called? What am I trying to say here? They've been using the traditional Euroscope-based ATIS for a long time, and yeah, I'm curious to see if they're thinking about moving on to V8 just to take advantage of that multiple. I think they broke something with that update. The moment it starts to push, it just bounces the plane. Normally I wouldn't care, but it also messed up my FMC. They must have hit the airplane awfully hard to have messed up your FMC. And I agree. This is, it's the risk you take flying today. Today is sim update day. You fly today, you're taking your life in your own hands. There's guaranteed there's going to be stuff that's broken, and I got that feeling that there was the trim issues that I was talking about, the trim fuel issues that I was talking about earlier from the Concorde. It was kind of a bit of a known issue going into update 9. They didn't know 100% whether or not update 9 was going to exacerbate this issue. It had shown up in the beta testing. So some of the people who were flying the Concorde were beta testing update 9, and they were pointed out this issue. The DC Designs team was hesitant to leap too much onto it because it was a beta. They weren't 100% sure that it was going to come out that way, or that it might they might change they might have changed the software before they released it. They might have changed tweaked it a little bit more before they released it again, so that they didn't kind of want to operate. They didn't want to put too much effort into something that was based solely on the beta, just in case whatever change tweaked their aircraft got taken back out of the final release of the update. So they didn't want to change anything. So hopefully in the next couple days, it sounds like they are already working on the problem. Like I do enjoy good support for them. I really don't like the way the DC Designs Concorde is being supported, because it's basically being supported in one long continuous post in what am I trying to say here? In the Microsoft Flight Simulator forum, there is one giant post basically since I think the aircraft was first announced, and since it was released, it basically has become like a mini support forum, but it's just one constant post. That it's now up to. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up here. So here is the
Toronto Center, American 462 on the apron at Delta, Quebec with Mike, ready for taxi.
American 462 Toronto, runway 33 right. Information is Mike, the altimeter 3009er. Taxi around the corner, Alpha Mike Victor to hold short of 33 right.
Taxi at 33 right, around the corner via Alpha Mike Victor, hold short 33 right, American 462.
Yeah, so here is the forum post where they sort of announced it a long time ago. And oh no, it's not this one. Sorry. There's another one on here. This one. This is the one where it's sort of the official support forum, almost, if you will. All 1,804 posts. Yeah. Anywho, let's see, and here I am glancing at it, and I'm already seeing like the issues with the fuel tank being talked about here. So, yeah. Yeah, and see, here's the problem. So when watching the fuel meter, the fuel was flowing through the pipes at up to 2,000 gallons per hour, and that's now dropped to 15 gallons per hour. In other words, it's not the fuel doesn't flow from take 9 to 11; it's
From
that frequency
center, Canadair
passes. Kind of
3168
fuel flow
request.
is released. Canadair 3168 Toronto, go ahead, request.
Good evening. We are type Cessna 152 VFR from Buttonville this evening. Going to be inbound into Pearson for circuits, and we have information Lima.
Canadair 3168, Buttonville's uncontrolled, so you can depart Buttonville at your discretion. Give me a call. Give me a call when you're about 5 miles away from Buttonville, and we'll get you picked up on radar then.
Oh, okay. We've actually already taken off. We're already headed westbound to Pearson.
Oh, I didn't even see you there. Yep, I see the target now. Let's see here, Canadair 3168. Let me see if I can find you here. All right, CYKZ. All right, Canadair 3168. I'll get you to squawk a code of 1213 and confirm your type of aircraft.
We are Cessna 152 and squawk 1213, Canadair 3168.
Canadair 3168, thanks. Identified at 1,500. You're cleared in the Toronto Pearson control zone, and runway 06 right for arrival. Are you heading to the GA at the north end?
We'll do a couple of circuits, and then, yeah, we'll probably park at the GA ramp after we're done.
All right, Canadair 3168. For now, I'd like you to fly direct the threshold of runway 24 left. I've got traffic departing 33 right.
Okay, so we'll head towards the threshold of runway 24 left for Canadair 3168.
American 462 Toronto, contact me once you're airborne. The wind's 33011, gust 16, clear for takeoff, runway 33 right.
Lookout clear for takeoff 33 right, American 462.
So I'm glad to know that it wasn't just me that was saying, oh, why is the trim not working ever? It was working, but it was working so slowly, it was imperceptible. 15 gallons per hour was the transfer rate that it was reaching instead of 4,000 gallons per hour, which is enough to make a noticeable difference on the CUG. It was just not making any difference. The fuel was moving, but it was so insignificant the amount of fuel that was moving that you didn't see the fuel gauges move. It obviously made no difference to the CFG. So interesting. Anyways, some beautiful circuits tonight. Oh, let's have a look at your picture here. Hey, there you go. Not too bad. There's nuclear jets. Couple of circuits there on the RNAV. So this one right here was the RNAV because you went direct to I can't remember what the fix was. Started with a D there, anyways. Oh, was it DARPU? It was DARPU, wasn't it? I think, yeah. DARPU, yeah, of course. DARPU, and then you did that, and then that was my vectored ILS. You were a little bit longer out there. I didn't mean to. I just got distracted by a couple of things, but yeah, looks pretty nice. Canadair 3168, your traffic's rolling down runway 33 right now. Should be airport momentarily.
We have the departing traffic inside Canadair 3168.
Canadair 3168, perfect, thank you. Pass behind that traffic, and you're cleared a right downwind for runway 05. We'll do your circuits on 05 tonight.
Okay, so we'll enter right downwind for runway 05, Canada Air 3168.
You got it. If I didn't give it to you, Toronto altimeter is 3009er. Yeah, so it never fails. Stuff always breaks with every update a Sobo does. Hopefully more stuff got
Center
fixed than
American
broken at
462
least.
airborne passing through 3,600 for 5,000.
American 462, thanks identified. Continue climb flight level 230.
Climb flight level 230, American 462.
American 462, turn right direct Vivet on course.
Right direct visit on course, American 462.
It's frustrating. Every time the sim gets updated, something breaks, and that's just the way it is. That's just the way software development works, especially when you're dealing with complicated software like this. Wow. I gotta say, like, the guys gets a lot of support even from the community. I'm just reading through as the developers talk to other people about how to try to solve it. And some people say, hey, we think we've even found some issues. We think we may have solved some of the issues here. It's quite impressive to watch, like, the way the community does come together and say, hey, because the trouble, like, with again, like, it's such a complicated piece of software, and for any one person or any one organization to really try and uh, deal with it, it's so much. So it becomes a lot easier when you've got lots of people with their eyes on the problem, eyes on the documentation, reading through different parts of the documentation rather than one person trying to read through and find stuff. Like if you've got multiple people working on the problem, then you're more likely to potentially find solutions. And there's a lot of people that like this Concorde, that want this Concorde to work. So there's a lot of invested effort into trying to get it to go. I will fly it on stream one day, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Um, like I said, like I cannot get it to work reliably for me yet. Maybe it's just me, and maybe I need to give it more time. So I'm not writing it off yet, but it's just something that I'm not yet willing to. What am I trying to say here? I don't want to do it on stream until I think I can do a reasonably good job. It's still frustrating. It's a very new airplane to me, and it's very different from anything I've done before. So it really shouldn't come as any surprise to me that it's frustrating. American 462 Toronto, proceed direct Audil and climb flight level 390.
Direct auto and climb flight level 390, American 462.
Canada Air 3168, you planning a touch and go?
Copy, we'll plan a touch go.
Canada Air 3168, the Toronto winds 330, 11 gust 16, clear for the touch and go, runway 05.
Clear touch go, runway 05, Canada Air 3168.
Yeah. Yeah, I do want to stream that airplane because I think it's going to be fun. I really do, but it's just not. Right now, it's frustrating. It's when there's multiple things that are just not working for me, and they're important things. It's ironic that the thing that seems to have been broken by the sim update itself, the fuel transfers. It's not. it's not that crucial at the end of the day. There is a reason why the fuel trim transfer exists and why you're supposed to be able to transfer fuel between one tank and another, but uh, the airplane still will make it. If you can take enough fuel, it'll increase the drag, it'll increase your fuel burn a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's not enough to really make a difference. And I don't even know that that drag penalty is modeled. Um, it's really kind of neat the way it's done in the Concorde. Like there's actually a CFG meter on the main main panel, um, right down near the vertical speed. There's an actual CFG meter, and it shows you where the CFG actually is, and then it also has like a band that moves as your speed moves. So the faster you go, the more rearward your CFG needs to be. So this band moves down there, and you have to try and keep the actual aircraft CFG within that band. Um, so that's what's actually drawn in there. I don't know that it actually impacts the actual operation. I don't know if it actually creates any drag, or if it's just us trying to me trying to just operate realistically. But and I think that's more the case. The whole system is modeled, and you can transfer fuel to keep it within that CFG range, and the range will correspond to what it should for the speed. But it's not so critical. In the real aircraft, it was quite critical, but in the sim, it's not so critical. You'll still carry more than enough fuel to get there. Um, the other ones are a little bit more critical, if you will. Navigating with the INS, trying to get from point A to point B, it's pretty critical, and being able to look away from it for a couple of minutes and know that it's going to continue to track to the next waypoint. That's the trouble. It didn't seem to sequence the waypoints correctly, so I went direct to a fix that was kind of downstream a little bit from. Um, when I departed London, I had a controller. He cleared me to a certain fix that wasn't the first fix on the flight plan. It was a couple flight fixes into the flight plan. So I did that direct to, and then it seemed to sequence one or two waypoints, and then it seemed to get lost after that. I didn't know where it was going. I ended up giving it direct to a couple times, and then eventually I gave it one direct to, and it got to that fix, and it seemed to want to turn around and go back to London. So there's something I'm doing that's obviously not right there. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna have to figure it out. I'm going to play with it some more. The trouble is I haven't flown it too much either. I've only done 4 flights, one of which was just a circuit, just to prove I could do a circuit. 2 of which were very short. Um, but the INS seemed to work on those 2, on the short ones. It, I wonder if it's because there's a lot of lat longs that I'm using, a lot of lat long waypoints, and maybe that's what it's having issues with, because that seemed to be where a lot of the issues were on the oceanic crossing when I was using all the lat long waypoints that had been loaded into the flight plan. So I'm going to have to go through and figure out what's affecting it. And the fact that I cannot get it to intercept the localizer too. Like at the end of the day, like it's a fast airplane. You kind of want to be established on a safe, stable approach path. You don't, and I don't really necessarily want to be hand flying it a lot at this point because I'm not very familiar with it. It's a lot going on in that airplane. It moves at a ridiculous speed. You touch down at 170 knots.
Center, Canada 3168 is mid downwind for runway 05, touch and go.
Canadair 3168, Toronto number 1, the wind's 330, 11 gust 16, cleared for touch and go, runway 05.
Clear touch and go, runway 05, Canada 3168.
So yeah, if I can't get it to intercept a localizer and fly a localizer down, I mean, I can land it by hand if I have to, and I could fly an ILS on raw data, but the flight director is not even leading you in the right direction. The flight director is useless, so I would be flying the approaches on raw data so far, and I've managed to get kind of to the runways, but it's not been pretty. And there's things going on. Like I'm still learning the airplane, although I do feel a little bit more comfortable having done a long haul flight in it now and had time to sort of go through it and think things through as I was flying it. The first couple of flights, there's so much going on. The airplane's so fast, you got to throttle it back right away after departure, or she reaches 300 knots before you've even blinked. Um, yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there, but I want to feel. I definitely want to feel more comfortable with it. I feel like it's something I'm doing. I feel like it's just something I'm messing up. I'm not sure what. It's just an airplane I'm not familiar with, and I obviously have not learned it well enough yet. I've read the documentation. It was pretty sparse for the most part. It sort of talked about briefly what the gauges mean, but it doesn't really talk about how things interact, how the systems interact. Now, I did find some stuff. If I can find it here, I downloaded it the other day. This guy here posted literally the entire Concorde manual and like literally hundreds of pages of diagrams. Ground service jack points, so all the points where they can talk to talk to the flight deck, audio selector panel, like literally the entire system's description. The trouble with this is that this is based on the real airplane, and the DC Designs airplane makes some simplifications. Who's this guy here? Oh, it's Porter. When did you sneak in here, Porter? I didn't even notice you.
Toronto Center, very good evening. Porter 125 descending through 7,000 and on the Coxwell to arrival.
Porter 125 Toronto, good evening. Squawk Cadet.
Ident 125.
There we go. That's the right button. Porter 125 Toronto, thanks. Identified descending through 6,400. Toronto City altimeter 3009er. The winds 350. Niner gusting 20. Runway 26. What approach are you planning?
Altimeter 3009er and say again the last part for Porter 125.
Porter 125 winds at City 350. Niner gusting 20. Runway 26. Which approach are you planning?
Would like the RNAV Zulu if that's possible. Porter 125.
Porter 125, plan the RNAV Zulu runway 26, descend 2,000.
Descend 2,000, Porter 125.
Porter plane just snuck in when I wasn't even looking. It's those quiet dash 8s. Porter 125, Toronto, proceed direct Volac.
Proceeding direct Volac, Porter 125.
Porter 125, clear Toronto City Airport, RNAV Zulu runway 26, Volac transition.
Here for the Toronto City RNAV Zulu runway 26 by the Volac transition, Porter 125.
Probably don't need this one anymore. Guy's long gone. But we can bring up another one. Sometimes I don't even recognize voices anymore on VATSIM either. People I should know don't recognize their voices. American 462, contact Boston Center now 134.7. Have a good day.
We're Boston 34-7. Thanks for the great help. Have a great night, American 462.
Good night.
Toronto Center, United 426 checking in with you. No, you're we're outside your airspace, but just want to make sure you knew we were online with you.
United 426 Toronto, good evening. Squawk again.
Squawk again, 426.
Center, Canada 3168, turning final for runway 05, touch and go.
Canada 3168, the Toronto winds 330, 11 gust 16, cleared the touch and go, runway 05.
Copy the winds, clear touch and go, runway 05, Canada 3168.
United 426 Toronto, hello, you're identified, descending through 316, descend 17,000, Toronto altimeter is 3009er. Information is Mike, runway 06 right ILS.
Descent to 170,000, expect 06 right ILS, 426, we have Mike on board.
Who's this guy sneaking in over here? People are just sneaking in everywhere. You look away for 5 seconds and these pilots, they just sneak into your airspace, they don't talk to you. It's okay. I'm starting to run out of steam for the evening anyways. So I got to get up and actually do some stuff tomorrow, so I don't think I'm going to keep it going too much past 4 Zulu here, but we'll see what happens here in the next few minutes. We'll try and get this United on the ground here. I think he'll probably be the last one by the looks of it. And after him, I think we'll pull the plug. But it's nice to get online and just do some controlling. I haven't done controlling for a while.
Good evening, UPS 990 with you at flight level 280.
UPS 990 Toronto Center, good evening. Squawk code 0560.
Squawk code 0560.
That's correct. Porter 125 Toronto, the city winds 350, 9er gust 20, clear to land, runway 26.
Clear land 26, Porter 125.
Let's see what else I can bring up here. I wonder if they have the fuel system diagram, and I'm sure they do, because this is literally the entire manual. Split into two, but about 360 pages worth, so I just have to find a table of contents. Just trying to find, like, there's obviously a record of amendments and revisions, so like pages and pages and pages, just trying to get into the airplane. Flight compartments and panels. There's no table of contents to it. Oh, boo. Why is there no table of contents? How can you have like a large technical manual and not have a table of contents? It literally just goes right into the amendment sheets. Temporary revisions, yellow pages. Supplementary revisions, blue pages. And then Chapter 1, Airplane General. You're sort of just left wondering.
Center, Canada 3168, mid downwind for runway 05, full stop.
Canada 3168, Toronto winds 330, 11 gust 16, clear to land, runway 05.
Clear to land, runway 05, Canada 3168.
I'm just looking at all these pages and pages of general information, audio and master warnings. What the different things mean. It's kind of useful. Glide slope. Airplane general, low tone, two-tone beeper, rattle, stick shaker, stall warning. Doors. I'm still on chapter 1 of the airplane general, and I'm on like page like 100. Flight deck lighting. Chapter 2, air conditioning and pressurization. Alright, there's got to be a section on the fuel page, but I mean, it's nice to have this manual because it was a little bit sparse in the DC Designs manual, what a lot of these things did. Like, they were very vague and kind
Porter
of...
125 on the missed approach and stabilize.
Porter 125, Toronto, Roger. Fly heading 180, maintain 2000.
Heading 180, maintain 2000, Porter 125.
Porter 125, Toronto. Did you want to do a visual circuit back around for another attempt on 26 there, or do you want to do the approach again?
I assume we can take a visual, Porter 125.
Okay, Porter 125, clear the left-hand circuit, runway 26, report turning base.
Clear left-hand circuit 26 and report turning base, Porter 125.
Cabin pressure control system. I really want to find the fuel pages here. Automatic flight. Yeah, why do I get the feeling like it's... Yeah. I should read this automatic flight section. Maybe it will resemble what it's supposed to be doing. I mean, it's interesting to look at anyways. It's a very old manual. That's for sure. Auto throttle. Automatic landing faces. I should read this section here. Heading hold, altitude hold. Select interception of the heading and runway. Select interception heading and runway heading on both track and course. Set pointers for the ATC system. Select speed. Engage IS acquired. Depress landing mode. Engage autopilot 2. Localizer capture. Glide slope capture. Land engaged. No, usually instantaneous with number 4. Interesting.
And Center Canada 3168 down and clear runway 05. We're going to go to Sky Service at the infield here.
Canada 3168, Toronto, Roger. Taxi Echo Alpha for Sky Service.
Okay, taxi by Echo Alpha to Sky Service Canada 3168. Thank you for the ATC.
United 426, Toronto, descend 1000.
1000, 426.
UPS 990, I can't remember if I ever said it, but you are identified at flight level 280. Yeah, just feel like I need to learn that airplane. I really want to conquer that airplane though. Like I'm going to get a good sense of satisfaction when I can do a full flight and not crash my sim twice either. Get the flight actually done to the ground in JFK. I did get up to Mach 2 and I was quite proud of myself when getting up to Mach 2. Porter 125, the city winds 350, 9er gust 20, cleared to land runway 26.
Clear land 26 was just about to call in for the base turn, Porter 125.
Reg. Now, where did my pictures go that I took today? Because I took a bunch of pictures today of that airplane flying. And I cannot, I don't know where. Oh, I think I know where they went. Yeah, there we go. I found them. Allow me to share some of these screenshots because it's a complicated panel to look at. There's a lot going on in this panel. I can actually look at it now and say I do have a bit of an understanding of what's going on in this panel now. It's taken me a little while to kind of get to that point, for sure. but I feel like I kind of understand what this panel's telling me now. There's my pictures from today. She is a nice looking airplane, I gotta say. I might make that my wallpaper now. Sitting there on the ramp. And there she is airborne. And I gotta say, like, there are some very impressive things about the way this sim is set up, including the modeling of the sound around this aircraft, including a sonic boom of a sorts. United 426 Toronto, descend 8,000, proceed direct Darpu.
Descend 8,000 direct RP, United 426.
I was quite impressed. I did not think that Microsoft had actually gone to the level. And I know there's an F-18 in there, and I haven't really played with it too much at all. I just, for some reason, didn't really appeal to me. I'm more of a civilian pilot, but they did model the sonic boom, and maybe it's a little bit gimmicky too, but it's also quite effective in a way. And so when you're looking at these pictures here. When you're looking at this picture back here, you can hear the engines running, and you can hear it. You can hear the airplane. You go to this picture here. You go to this shot where you're in front of the airplane, and this was me mid-Atlantic doing Mach 2. You don't hear anything. It's silent. And why is it silent? Because the sound hasn't gotten to you yet. You're ahead of the shock wave. You're ahead of the sonic boom that's kind of coming off this airplane behind it. The second you turn the drone's follow me off and the airplane goes zooming past you, you hear that sudden sonic boom. But for certain angles, this one I think was also silent because we were just above and we were still outside of that sonic boom shockwave. But then the second you pass through it, you actually hear it, and it's a neat effect. I hadn't experienced that with any other airplanes, but it's a kind of a neat effect the way it's just silent. Like this one, like this is eerie. It's just silent because the airplane has the sonic boom and the sound of the airplane have not reached you yet because the airplane's just moving so fast at Mach 2. It was fun, anyways. I enjoyed flying it. I got it to 60,000 feet in Mach 2 without a whole lot of issue. It wasn't until I started going to these direct waypoints within the Atlantic that it started to go haywire on the INS, and I kind of gave up on the fuel trim a little while ago. United 426 descend 4,000.
4,000, 426.
Porter 125, welcome to City, taxi Alpha, and apron at your discretion. Have a good night.
Alpha and apron at our discretion. Porter 125, thanks.
UPS 990 Toronto, you've now left my airspace again to the south. Cleveland's not online. Switch to the en route frequency. Surveillance service terminates. Have a good night. I don't think he's listening. Oh, yes.
UPS 990. Have a good night.
Good night. Yeah, we'll just get this guy on the ground, turn him on final, get him on the ground, and that'll be the end of it for today, I think. But I'll try to do another ATC stream. Maybe not this week. If not this week, definitely next week. I'll try to do it sometime. But I'm going to try and get that flight stream done. What am I trying to say? That New York to LA flight. She's going to be a long one in the Airbus. I'm going to go full tilt. I mean, it's going to be a long one. I've done some samples, and it's 5:30 is about the fastest I can get that flight to go. The only yeah, let's see if I can find it here. The last few flights that I've done, because I've planned it a bunch of times already. I've planned a bunch of different iterations here. It's going to depend a lot on the winds too. It's such a long flight. You're going to need to know what the winds are going to be when you want to go do this flight. So yeah, when it comes to doing that actual flight, we're also going to have to do some planning. Where I really have to do some serious dispatching, probably the night before, because I'm going to have to get up and I'm going to have to basically haul the kids off to school and immediately sit down and start flying this. 5:45 is what this is like the most direct route you can get, and this is still showing 5:45 to get you from JFK to LA. 15,000 kilos of fuel. You're going to need most of a tank too to get there in one go. United 426, fly heading 330, descend 3,000.
330, descend heading 3000.
United 426, actually looking a little high there still, so fly heading 300 for now and give you just a little more space to lose altitude.
300 for 426, yeah, we had an issue with our autopilot. 426.
No problem. No problem. We'll just give you a little vector further out, but yeah, that I'm gonna plan on doing that next week. I want to get that leg done. That's gonna be the longest leg I think of the whole thing. Looking forward to that flight. My 321's ready in JFK. Excellent. Like I said, stay tuned to that Discord. I will definitely United 426 turn right now heading 330.
Turn right 330, United 426.
I will definitely post it a couple days in advance. It's going to be next week sometime. I'm just waiting for Squibbly to I'm going to poke him again, I think, tonight before I go to bed. Just see if he's got a day that he can do it. Because I'm pretty much wide open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think. I'm pretty much wide open for most of next week. So I would love to try and get it done next week. And that gives me some flexibility to work with whatever days he can do. Hopefully you're also free the same day. And even if anybody guys... And if you guys want to join us, even if you're not free for the whole day, if you're free for part of the day, that's great. You know, just join us for part of it. Anyways, either do the departure with us and make it a little bit shorter leg somewhere, or you know, plan the arrival to sort of arrive at LA at the same time as us. United 426, turn right heading 030 for the intercept. Clear the ILS runway 06 right.
030 for intercept. Cleared ILS 06 right. 426.
Because this is a hobby that is much fun. It's just, first of all, it's a hobby. It's so much more fun when we enjoy it together, and I really hope that we start to get some multiplayer capability in some of these airplanes soon. And I think Asobo's working towards that. I kind of mentioned that, except Thursday. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. We'll try to avoid Thursday. We'll see what Squibbly has to say, but yeah, we'll try to avoid Thursday so that we can get you to fly with us as well. But yeah, this is one of the things that I'm really looking forward to soon, and I'm hoping it's going to start to come soon. Is shared flight deck flying in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I think it's going to be possible soon. I mentioned this on the stream there last time about Asobo having blocked C++ inadvertently. And a lot of the WebAssembler modules as well are kind of blocked within Microsoft Flight Simulator. It was never really done on purpose. It was just when the...
Porter 125 is on blocks. That was a little bit windy, but somehow we made it down. We thank you for controlling and have a good evening.
Porter 125, no problem. Have yourself a good night. We'll see you next time. Yeah. Yeah, so it was not intentional that they blocked all the communication with C++ and WebAssembler with the outside world, but it's just sort of what happened, and they are planning on unblocking it. It's not something that they wanted to have happen. It's just something when they were developing it, it happened by accident. It's in there now. Now to undo it, of course, they've got to make sure that whatever they choose to undo is safe. So, yeah, hopefully it'll come with time, and I think that's going to be key to kind of unlocking the idea of a shared flight deck. Is of course you need to have communication with the outside world for the shared flight deck to work. So hopefully Aerosoft will bring that to their Airbus products sooner rather than later, when that becomes an option. Just looking for the development roadmap. There it is. There's always lots of stuff on it, but that one's really very, very brief. There's development roadmap. Okay, I found it now. It took me a little while to find it, but March, April, May. This is from back in March, anyways. SDK and third-party setups, updates. United 426, Toronto winds 330, 11 gust 16, clear to land, runway 06 right.
Clear to land 06 right, United 426.
yeah, I just trying to find. It might not be like in the public roadmap. I mean, they've talked to some of the developers about it, and PMDG is one of the developers that's very interested in having that ability to communicate with the outside world because they want the global flight operations to work. So hopefully, hey PBask, welcome. Unfortunately, we're just about getting ready to wrap things up here. It's turning into a quiet evening now. Most of the traffic's kind of come and gone. There's one more airplane here off to the east that's kind of inbound, but at this point, I don't think I'm even going to talk to him just because I plan to get out of here. It's coming up towards my bedtime, unfortunately. So I will head to bed shortly here. Look at how many airplanes are still in Boston's airspace here. I've got what, two, one. He's got like 20 people tagged up here. Boston just never fails to pack them in. Toronto used to be good like this, and it just Toronto is still, I think, struggling a little bit. Has for a while now. Just struggling to maintain interest, and it's funny because I thought that Fly Tampa scene being released would have created more interest, and I think it did, but I think it was very short lived. It was not permanent, which is just a shame because I think first of all it's great scenery. I hope most people are enjoying it. I've definitely logged quite a few flights out of Toronto, but yeah, it seems like the ATC is very much hit or miss in the Toronto area right now, and it's a pity because yeah, Toronto used to be known as such a good destination for high quality ATC on VATSIM, and Boston still has that reputation. And look at what Boston's doing here. Look at how many this guy's got: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 people tagged up. I have barely seen 11 aircraft the whole session. He's got 11 tagged up right now. It's always a little bit more popular in the US, unfortunately. I mean, good for them. I'm not trying to. Just a little jealous sometimes. And part of me wants to go and learn to control some USA RTCCs as well, but it's all I can do to kind of keep up with all the Canadian airspace I'm trying to keep up with. I'm trying to learn the American system would just probably break my brain at this point, I think. Or maybe I should do it. Maybe I should learn it. Maybe I should show you guys on stream how poorly I can do it. How poorly I can do at it. Because it's very similar to the Canadian system, but there's just enough differences to really kind of like just to really confuse you, just to sort of leave you like, what? Really? Oh, okay. That's different than how we do it in Canada. It's not a bad thing. It's not as different as bad, but it's just different. And then you have to learn how it's different and learn to work with it however it's different. So yeah, and me too. And I mean, I've controlled there and I flied there, and I've I've spread my controlling out a lot more now. Like I got checked out to control everywhere in Canada, so I spend more time controlling everywhere in Canada. And it's funny, like even as much as Toronto is sort of my natural home base, it's still always has been and always will be. I still feel like United 426. Continue rolling down to Delta 3. Make the left on Delta 3.
Oh, it's a Delta 3, left on Delta 3, 426.
United 426 on Delta 3. Continue across runway 06 left. And do you have a particular gate in mind?
Cross 06 left and no gate in mind, 426.
All right, United 426. Let's see here. Taxi Delta 3 and Delta Quebec. Go around to lane 9 for gate 162.
Delta 3, Delta Quebec to lane 9 for 139, 426.
Yeah. Are you not coming to Toronto anymore? I think you talked about that on a previous stream that you were going to be visiting this summer. It's going to be it's not going to be a great summer for clearing customs. Canada Customs is so overwhelmed with dealing with all this public health stuff that even though they have more people working there than ever, it's not enough for the amount of volume of workload.
Toronto Center, good evening. Air Canada 955, information 9, request clearance to Boston.
Air Canada 955 Toronto, good evening. Cleared to Boston, Logan via the Kepta 2 departure, Bumpa transition, and then direct Albany flight plan route. Departure runway 33 right, squawk code 0501.
Okay, we're unable to be kept, so we're slant with the Air Canada 955.
Air Canada 955, okay. We don't do slant whiskey in Canada, but all right, we check unable the RNAV departure. You can plan the Toronto 2 departure and then radar vectors to Rochester flight plan route.
Okay, Toronto 3 departure, radar vectors, Rochester flight plan route, departure 33 right, and squawk 0501, Air Canada 955.
Air Canada 955, the readback is all correct information. Mike Curran, push and start at your discretion. And I'd be shutting down now, so departure is also at your discretion. Have yourself a good night.
Okay, good night.
Thanks for the ATC service, Toronto Center Air 426.
Yeah, 426, no problem. Have yourself a good night, sir, and we will see you next time.
See you next time.
And if anybody else is on Toronto Center frequency, Toronto Center is now closing. You can switch to Unicom 122.8, and a good night to all. All right, that's probably my cue to exit, because if I start engaging with anybody else, it's going to just turn into I'm going to be controlling for the next hour and wondering why I'm not in bed. So that is it for me. I am off. I am out for the night, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It's a pity you're not coming to Toronto, but hopefully your sister makes it back to you okay and makes it home as well. Like I said, clearing customs in Toronto is it's going to be a bit of an ordeal for the foreseeable future. I think certainly until the COVID restrictions drop even more, because Canada Customs is just overwhelmed trying to keep up with it, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can try and hire more people, but the number of people they need to hire and the time it takes to train them all too. It's not a job where you can just hire somebody tomorrow and say, hey, okay, tomorrow you're checking everybody's passport. This is what you're looking for. Like there's an intense training course you got to take to become a Canada Customs border officer, which is fine. That's what I would expect. I would expect nothing less. But that being said, then you can't just hire people off the street and have them ready to go in a week or two. There's a big lead time, and as of right now, it's terrible right now. At certain times of the evening, when you get a rush of a couple of airplanes coming at the same time, it gets so backed up because there's just not enough people to handle the job. But anyways, I'm gonna head to bed. You guys all have a good night. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys all out there on VATSIM. If you haven't done it before, make sure you join the Discord. That way you know when we are going to be where we're going to be doing that next flight stream, and you can join us for that as well. Until then, have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you soon.